was burning. The clouds red with twisted fire. Lightning moving across them. And they descended upon everything. Like a furious battle between God and Satan, good and evil. Like a fire vortex.
What is up, y'all? How's everyone doing tonight? This is the only Mazar here, and once again, I'm just gonna be running everything and doing everything on my own, folks. I'm gonna be streaming, I'm gonna be commentating, and I will also be managing the match myself. Before I move on into anything else, Shorts asks, who made this into the custom car? So sick. Good thing you asked about that. So this was made by an old member back in the day, or older days of SGL. His name was Death, and he made this, I believe, all by himself, or probably with the help of another old SGL member. Yeah, it's an awesome intro, and we thought, we'll just keep using it because it's sick. So yeah, there you go. We have him to thank for that. Yeah, folks, we got a good match for you today over here. This is a losers round 2 matchup, and it's between Steel Army and the locals. And as I mentioned in yesterday's stream and also in the past, in the losers rounds, if you lose, you're out. No second chances, none of that stuff. So it's do or die here for Steel Army and the locals, and it's all about whether they can get this big win here today. This is going to be a best of 5 matchup, as a reminder, so every game counts. They cannot slack off in any which way. They cannot take a game for granted. They have to be switched on. They have to make sure they get that first win as soon as possible. Shorts, you said that'll never get old. Indeed, it will never get old. It's that good. So I doubt we'll replace that at any point in the near or even mid future. Rip Shark 9 coming and saying, "Go locals!" Indeed, go locals. Personally, I've really liked watching them play. They have a very good quality team. They have a bunch of very high quality players, and personally, I would like to see them go far and go all the way. But they're facing a tough side in Steel Army right here. Steel Army, a team that never necessarily seems to be at the top level, but they're a team that can test the top teams and even upset them quite often. So I guess the best way to describe them is as SGL's gatekeepers. Yeah, they're SGL's gatekeepers. And they do a good job of making sure that if a team wants to go to the top, they have to overcome them. Short saying, I want Steel Army to win, so if we win, we can get a rematch. Yeah, that would be a good matchup, that's for sure. I think Steel Army beat you guys 3-1 in the Swiss round, the Swiss stage, round 2. So, yeah, that would be a fun rematch for sure. So guys, before we dive deeper into this matchup, I do want to quickly recap what the knockout stage looks like so far. So let's dive right into that. So as you can see right here, folks, we have a winner's bracket and a loser's bracket. In the winner's bracket, teams there get 2 chances. So, you see Casey Cauldron versus Steel Army. Casey Cauldron overcame them 3-1. It didn't look that comfortable though. Casey Cauldron did have to, put in some extra work to make sure they overcame Steel Army. So that 3-1 match scoreline is a little misleading. Steel Army came back and won game 1, and in games 2, 3, and 4, all of those games were close, decided by 1 to 2 goal margins. So if I were the locals, I'd take Steel Army seriously right here. And then Timbers Army versus Emerald City RC. Again, a close matchup. The first match I think was decided by 1 goal. The second match decided by 1 goal, and the third by 2 goals, I believe. Hope I'm not mistaken. So that 3-0 scoreline, that 3-0 match scoreline is also misleading. But at the end of the day, Casey Cauldron, Emerald City RC will face each other in the winners final next week. They should be doing that this week, but Emerald City RC doesn't have to be available, so that's been postponed to next week. But as you can see right here, Steel Army and Timbers Army did not get eliminated when they lost. They just moved into the losers round 2. And they're facing teams that won in losers round 1. Now the teams that won in losers round 1 eliminated the teams they defeated. So the Rebellion eliminated Emerald City Blue in their 3-1 matchup, and the Locals had a very tough yet very entertaining matchup against El Matador. And they overcame them 3-2 with some last-second goals in Game 5. And that was an insane Game 5, folks. If you have the chance, go back into SGL's VODs, go into the SGL Season 7 collection, find this losers round 1 matchup between El Matador and the Locals, and definitely give that a watch. That is worth watching for sure. So yeah, El Matador and Emerald City Blue are out. And in the losers round 2 matches, the teams that lose, they will be out. So the Locals have everything to play for here against Steel Army. So that's it for the recap, folks. We are very close to kickoff, which is in about 2 minutes. And, I'll take us into the game when we are ready to go there. But before we go in there, I do want to highlight the top 5 player stats as of the knockout stage round 1. And I think it's worth highlighting to also help us preview the upcoming match that's going to be coming in. So as you can see right here, folks, this is what your top 5 looks like for now. Mostly dominated by players from teams that are eliminated at this stage, like Luis Palace. Trying to see if there are a few other names around here. Blue Sky, Boston Cider, Green Mario, and so on. But you still have a bunch of players in there who are still participating, who are still in contention, like Yef, like Shorts who played yesterday and had a convincing performance. But then you see some names that'll be involved today, most prominently Mecky Ducky and Debit and Raid. As you can see right here, Mecky Ducky is second in the total points top 5. This dude gets involved everywhere. I mean, he is probably the go-to guy for the Locals this season. And he only came in this season, by the way. I'm not sure if he's going to be able to participate today. I don't know. But if he does, it's going to be huge for the Locals because they will need him here. I mean, he's their goal getter. He gets the assists in, and he can also make those saves. This guy is all over the place. He is all action, and he is a complete player. So Mecky Ducky is the man to watch, is the player to watch if he plays tonight. Meanwhile, for Steel Army, you see Debit 5th in the total goals leaderboard. And then you have Raisin Boy with 2 saves per game, albeit he only played 6 games as of now. So, for players to keep an eye out on, Debit is definitely that guy. A clinical goal scorer. This guy, anytime he gets a shot on goal, he's very likely to score. So for the Locals, they have to make sure they shut him down, bump him, get him out of a goal-scoring position. And for Steel Army, they got to make sure they cause a lot of disruption in front of the net and enough chaos so that Debit can come in and get that shot on target and get that goal. Now, there may be some names you may not be seeing on here, like, Dr. Aquatic, for example. He has not played much, although I think if he does play, he's going to be a key part for this local side. And on Steel Army's end, you may not be seeing Bear Blitz. Bear Blitz is, in my opinion, the player who glues Steel Army together. The guy is an excellent support player. I mean, he gets the best out of everyone. He does a great job of rotating, being in the right place at the right time, keeping control of the ball and keeping possession. So for Steel Army to get going, they need him to get going. And for the Locals to dominate the match, they have to make sure Bear Blitz does not get any control of the ball. If Bear Blitz starts to control the ball, the Locals are in trouble. If they could start bumping and demoing Bear Blitz, if they can make sure he gets as little of the ball as possible, then Steel Army will lose control of the game. The Real Plowry says, Aquatic is a sleeper for real. I agree. The dude has not played much this season, but I agree. He is one player who is worth looking at and who is worth paying attention to. That dude is a serious player. So, folks, we are going to be jumping in to the matchup real soon. Both teams are in, and I just need to give them the word to join their teams, and we should be good to go. We are almost set to go, folks. While we wait for both sets of players to join in, give me your predictions. I don't know how to call this, in all honesty. It's a tough prediction. I think I'm going to go locals at 5. Locals at 5. But here we go, folks. Game 1 kicks off between Steel Army and the locals in losers round 2. Win or go home. Redford with a plastic Bear Blitz in the middle, but he's not able to get the pass back from Bear Blitz. Now Mecky Duck is going to solo play right here, but Bear Blitz is back in time. You see what I mean, guys? Bear Blitz is ever reliable and ever dependable. Always in the right place at the right time. And they need him more than ever, as the locals are starting to crank up the pressure. And this ball is floating in the middle. Not good. Mecky Duck is going for a shot towards the top of the goal. He can't make it, but Doughboy is there to clean up and get the locals' first goal of this match. And what a great start for the locals right here, folks. They cranked up the pressure. Steel Army came out very slow off the mark. And, you know, this is the start that the locals absolutely needed. Great job by them. Let's see if they can keep it up. A little bit of disruption in the locals game right there, and this allows Steel Army to take control. Devitt with a touch off the side, but Mecky Ducky reads that like a book. Unfortunately, he's not able to get much control there, but Dr. Aquatic is there to help him out. Dr. Aquatic trying to get his second hockey assist right there, but he's unable to get a key touch. Mecky Ducky now off the sidewall, trying to get a second touch, but he cannot. And Devitt takes control of the ball right there. So we're dribbling it up into the midfield. Ball gets pitched out to the other side, but Redford chooses to forego that. Mecky Ducky going for a fake. Bear Blitz, though, is unfazed. Dr. Aquatic, once again, doing a great job of sticking close to the ball and winning his challenges. And so far, you're starting to see the impact Dr. Aquatic has in keeping that pressure going. We'll see if they can keep that up. Devitt beats Dr. Aquatic right there. That big skyline wasn't enough to beat Devitt's Octane. But doesn't matter. Mecky Duck going in towards the net. Bear Blitz with a good save. Gets it out to the side. Doughboy trying to get it on target, but he cannot. And now Devitt can bring it out. Gets some boost, but he cannot get to the ball. Mecky Ducky misses that first touch. Bear Blitz is looking awkward, but Dr. Aquatic's there to help out. Doughboy now trying to see if he can create something. Let's go with the ball. Oh my goodness, no one from Steel Army got that? But Doughboy gets away with it right there as he's able to demo and keep that pressure going. Aquatic cannot get that shot on target. Bear Blitz now able to clear it out, but Mecky Ducky once again keeps that pressure going. But unfortunately, he's not able to get a touch out of there. However, the locals are doing a great job of sustaining the pressure. Their rotations are on point. They're in the right place at the right time. They're playing at a good pace right now and making sure that Steel Army is unable to gain any sort of momentum. Devitt with an awkward moment right there. He's unable to get that second challenge. Mecky Ducky going towards goal. Bear Blitz once again with a critical save. And he keeps it to a 1-goal lead for now. Redford bearing towards the other side of the net. Mecky Ducky trying to advance, but the ball now goes into the opposite side. One bump away by Redford on Doughboy. Doesn't come too much, though. Redford misses. He needs to go back now. Bear Blitz trying to keep up that pressure. Aquatic looks awkward, but Mecky Ducky wins his challenge with that dominance. Now a battle of two dominances as Bear Blitz and Mecky Ducky cause some chaos in the midfield. Ball goes out to Devitt, who tries to go for a long shot, cannot make it. Good sensible play by Doughboy, just waiting for the ball to drop. Now Mecky Ducky takes over in the corner. Flicks, beats one. Cannot beat two as Devitt wins that challenge, but Aquatic is right there to make sure Devitt cannot settle onto the ball. And so far, this has been the name of the game for the locals. They've basically done a good job of making sure that Steel Army cannot get their rhythm going. And quite often, it's Dr. Aquatic who gets in the way. He's been the critical player for the locals, despite not necessarily contributing so much in terms of goals or even assists. Short sig, Devitt's lawnmower boost is so distracting. You know, that might be the play there. But he does love that lawnmower boost. Unfortunately, though, that shot's going towards the net, but Red 4 is at the right place at the right time, getting that save and getting the ball out into the midfield. Devitt's trying to go in for a challenge. Dr. Aquatic bails out. Good choice. Bear Blitz to Devitt, but Devitt does not have the boost to follow up. He gets the quarter boost, I think. I'm not sure if he did, but doesn't matter. The locals are looking quite comfortable at the back. Devitt beats one, trying to go for a bump at the keeper. Bear Blitz now has control of the midfield, but he needs to flick it over to prevent Dr. Aquatic once again from disrupting his play. Uh-oh. Bear Blitz. Sorry, Devitt misses it. Red 4, though, is able to save that and get it out. Good fake there. Devitt takes charge. Devitt trying to beat Doughboy. Cannot beat him necessarily. Mecky Ducky gets it out. Now Bear Blitz into the middle. Red 4 to follow it up. Back to the same corner. Can Bear Blitz do anything? He gets a nice pass out. Red 4 with a shot. He cannot make it. And Devitt was also scored for that same shot. They need to get back ASAP. Otherwise, they might concede the second right there. Bear Blitz does on time. Can they get another attack going? Can they get that equalizer? Devitt into the midfield. Bear Blitz trying to go for it. The pass. He cannot make it. Aquatic intercepts. Aquatic gets the goal that he deserved. That is the dagger on Steel Army's back. And Dr. Aquatic is in there once again. He's been so good at reading these passes and clearances out into the midfield. And he's been rewarded with his goal right there. For someone who has not played for a while, he has played a big part in this victory for the locals. And folks, that 198 points in Dr. Aquatic is misleading, because this dude stepped up and played a big part for his team. I mean, he made sure that Steel Army couldn't get out and couldn't sustain their attacks. And well done to the locals for getting a game one out in fine margins, but this is exactly the start they needed right here. One thing I'm surprised by is Steel Army didn't really have that much good control of the match. They looked a little lost. They looked a little slow. Like they were a bit too tentative to come out and really challenge, you know? So whenever one of their players was going for a demo, their other two players were too far away. I think that's just natural. I think they'll get used to that over time. So we'll see if in Game 2 they come out and get going for sure. Both teams are coming in for Game 2 at Forbidden Temple as the clock ticks down to kickoff for Game 2 between Steel Army and the locals. The locals with a 1-0 lead in this match. Shot from Bear Blitz. That wasn't on target, but it was concerning enough for Mecky Ducky to get a save out there. Now Dr. Aquatic takes control with a skyline. Beats one. Cannot beat the second as he gets bumped out of the way by Bear Blitz. This is Red 4's chance now. Open net. Can he get something right here? He cannot get a solid contact. And that allows Doughboy to get back and clear the ball away. You should have. Oh my goodness. That was it. You'd have thought that he would have taken care of that, but man, he really struggled to get the ball in control right there. Doesn't matter though. That should give Steel Army some hope to get them back into this matchup. It's a good start from them so far. Once again, the pressure is cranking up by the locals on Steel Army. Devitt, oh my goodness, I thought he was going to get that on target, but he cannot make it. Devitt though, demos Bear Blitz. Bear Blitz should have had that on target. He misses another demo, but the locals are able to clear that out and reset. Bear Blitz Devitt looking awkward right there. Bear Blitz also looking awkward, and Mecky Ducky coming off of the corner, following up from his first touch. Getting that into the back of the net. Really good adventurous play from Mecky Ducky right there. Of course, Dr. Aquatic is coming in, but Mecky Ducky took care of that himself. Guys, if you can't clip that, that was a sight. That was a nice goal. And for Steel Army, this is a bit troubling. This is going almost like Game 1 right now, but Devitt comes in with a wild finish from out of nowhere. Dr. Aquatic looked like he won that challenge, but a fizzing pass from Red 4 to his brother Bear Blitz, who cherry-picked that with an 86-mile-per-hour shot off of Alan's BangersOnly.com radar gun. Guys, clip that as well. What a banger of a goal. And that first goal for Steel Army in this matchup should be the catalyst for them to get going. They have been looking better, but the locals always have that potential to keep that pressure up. Let's see if they can keep it going right here. For now, though, Steel Army is cranking it up and making it a bit more difficult for the locals. Ball's cleared, it's going towards the net. No one from Steel Army is back there. Mecky Ducky gets a long shot and punishes Steel Army for their overcommitment. What happened right there? It looked like everyone from Steel Army was in front of the locals' net or thereabouts, and no one was able to get back on time and stop that long shot. Steel Army got punished for their adventurousness. Let's see if that, pulls them back a bit, reins them in, or if they keep that self-belief going and keep going for those goals. Red 4 beats one right there on the right wing, keeps control. Looking a little awkward, but he still has control of the ball. Beats two. Try to go for a bump on Dr. Aquatic, but he cannot make it. Now Bear Blitz tries to follow up. Nice job from Debbie right there. I like the idea. I appreciate what he's trying to go for there. To go for a shot and keep the locals on their toes. But it spells trouble right now. Mecky Duck, though, unable to capitalize, not able to get a clean shot. I think Red 4 was trying to look for a pitch right there, but he just wasn't, his teammate wasn't ready for it. Now needs to go out and challenge Dr. Aquatic. Debit now gets it out into the midfield. Doughboy, though, gets the touch. Bear Blitz needs to come out. He doesn't get the 50 right there. This is for Mecky Ducky, who lofts it to the other side, and the pressure keeps going. Dr. Aquatic once again following up from the right wing. You're seeing that quite often now from Dr. Aquatic. He's been a big part as to why the locals are able to keep that pressure up. Now Mecky Ducky diving in for that challenge right there, not holding back. Dr. Aquatic coming in towards that ball. Cannot get the shot on target though. Now Bear Blitz, this is his chance. Tries to go off the backboard for a second touch. He cannot make it, and Mecky Ducky is able to clear that out. Bear Blitz with a nice good first touch. Trying to go for a 50 on Doughboy, but Doughboy forces that away, and he breaks the ball forward for the locals now. Now he has to beat Red 4. He does beat Red 4. Dr. Aquatic follows up 3-1 to the locals. Really good team goal right there by the locals. That was a really good heads-up play by Mecky Ducky, seeing that Doughboy was coming up, playing that pass towards him, and Doughboy was ready for it from there. Stayed close to the ball, beat Red 4 with a nice pass, and there was no one to follow up in the far post for Steel Army. Unfortunately for them, it goes from bad to worse. Doughboy now gets his goal, 4-1 to the locals. And this is looking really bad for the locals, folks. Sorry, for Steel Army, folks, as the locals are really cranking it up. And they look like they're going to run away with this game too right here. Steel Army need a quick fire goal right now. With a 3-goal deficit with less than 90 seconds to go, they cannot afford to waste time or slow down. They need to make every touch count, every pass count, and every shot count. Nothing can go to waste right here. Good demo, though, by Mecky Ducky on Devin, making sure he doesn't settle it. Now, Red 4 is coming in for a pass attempt. He, though, cannot make it. Bear Blitz gets a challenge into the midfield, but it's not looking good for Devin, who needed to step back and make sure he could defend. Again, not looking good. Doughboy comes in to steal Mecky Ducky's goal and make it 5-1 with 1 minute to go. I think that's game and set here in game 2, folks. I don't see how Steel Army can come back from this. They need a goal right off this kickoff, first of all. And no, that's a bad kickoff for them. Mecky Ducky gets a follow-up, and I think this might be game over at this point, folks. Really good pass attempt right there by Doughboy to Mecky. Mecky, though, is able to get that touch back. Ducky coming back in to go for a bump on Bear Blitz. Bear Blitz evades one. Red 4 tries to help his brother up, but he cannot make it, and now Devitt needs to clean up and see if he can advance the ball forward. Nice flick over Doughboy. He has control now. Can he get that shot? He doesn't, but he does follow up. Bumps the keeper and Aquatic away. Bear Blitz needs to get a shot on target. He doesn't, and Mecky Ducky's at the backboard to clear this away. Got demoed for his trouble, but all of this is a lot of time wasted for Steel Army. They're not making their touches count and shots count, unfortunately. And this means that the locals are going to be winning this game too, unless Steel Army can get some quick fire goals right here in pretty much 1 or 2 seconds. As the clock ticks down to 0, folks, I think this is it. Game 2 goes to the locals. What a performance from them. Dr. Aquatic making himself kind of really stepping up right here. Steel Army are in huge, huge trouble. They need help right here, folks. They need help badly. I don't know if they can bring in, Raisin Boy. I'm not sure about that. But if they can, they need it. They need to change it up right now, folks. They are in huge, huge trouble right here. And for, the locals, they're doing all this without Raid, which is incredible to think of. Raid has been one of their most important players, but Dr. Aquatic has stepped in, and he has done a stellar job for this team, folks. I mean, the locals have got 8 shots compared to Steel Army's 3. Mecky Ducky and Doughboy with 2 goals and 2 assists each. Dr. Aquatic with 1, but he still had 320 plus points. That is a sign of a team that is completely in sync with each other, that is working well, and that is not making any mistakes in their game. Or if they're making mistakes, they're not impactful mistakes. Well, it looks like both teams are going in with the same set of players. No changes to either side. Here we go. This is do or die for Steel Army, folks. They need to get a win to keep themselves alive. Otherwise, they are done in the SGL Cup. And the locals once again with a great kickoff and a great start. Let's see if they can follow this up and get a quick goal. Mecky Ducky playing it to the left side. I expect Doughboy to be there to follow up. Yep, he's right there. Passing it towards the far corner. Aquatic there to follow up, but he cannot get it on target. However, you can see what the locals were cooking right there. Doughboy tried to go for that pass to the far post. Aquatic was ready to go from the right side. That seems like something that's been coached into them. And I'm pretty sure Doughboy might have been, getting his team together, going through these drills, and making sure they are able to beat Steel Army. So far, they have looked like a well-oiled machine, folks. Shorts in chat saying, my predictions have been dead wrong every match? Hey, man, I get it. Because this league has had so many good teams. We've had upsets. We've had surprising game results, even if the matches have gone as expected. So, I'm not surprised to see that. What is surprising, though, is seeing how dominant the locals have been over Steel Army. Once again, Steel Army looking very slow right here. Pass by Doughboy into the middle. No one was really ready to intercept that pass and clear it away. And Mecky Ducky comes in from the far post. 1-0 to the locals in Game 3 of 5. Folks, this is looking really bad for Steel Army. They've only had 1 goal so far, and it was off of a banger of a cherry pick by Debit. They need a lot more right now because Debit is being shut down for the most part. Bear Blitz has been anonymous as well. That's all thanks to the locals and how quickly they have come out to prevent the Steel Army team from getting their mojo going. Once again, Mecky Ducky disrupting Debit, preventing him from having boost, and also disrupting Bear Blitz in the follow-up. And he slows the game down enough for the locals to get control of the ball and clear it out to the other end. Bear Blitz going for a challenge. This ball's in the midfield. Doughboy follows it up. Let's go with the second touch. Doughboy's trying to go for a bump on the keeper. Cannot make it, but this is all resulting in a lot of trouble for Steel Army. They're not able to get themselves set up. They're not able to get their rotations going because they're always worried about that bump at the back. They're worried about having to cover the far post, and they're not able to get out. However, Debit has an opportunity right there, 1v1, but he evades the ball after getting the boost because he wanted to rotate and get into position. However, Bear Blitz was not able to capitalize. Now Dr. Aquatic's to follow it up. Does he have enough boost to make it? Gets 1 touch, not on target. Still a good effort there by Dr. Aquatic. And the locals are able to keep that pressure going. Pass from Mecky Ducky to Aquatic. Aquatic, though, cannot get it on target. Now let's see what Debit can do right here as the ball goes up into the midfield. Debit cannot get a good touch right there. He can't even get the bump. And now Steel Army needs to reset. Red 4 misses that ball. Bear Blitz tries to dribble it out, but he cannot because of Aquatic. Debit clears it to Mecky Ducky. Ducky with a second touch. Ducky trying to go for that challenge. Cannot make it, but Dr. Aquatic was there. Aquatic tried to go off the backboard with that heavy skyline. He cannot make it, but Ducky should be there to follow up. He's going to hang back and wait for Bear Blitz to get a touch. That's not a bad idea. Bumps Debit away for his trouble, and now Debit unable to take control, and that's all it took for the locals to keep their pressure up, folks. And that's the thing, it's been that simple for the locals. Like, they don't even need to do anything fancy. They've just been bumping and disrupting Steel Army right there. Mainly Debit and Bear Blitz, and they've been able to get up to them and challenge them and prevent them from being able to build up their attacks. Well done to the locals for executing a good game plan right there. Shot on target, unable to get it in. Good effort by Steel Army to keep that out of the net, although that ball still had to bounce off the crossbar. Bear Blitz clears it out. Debit try to get something on that, but Aquatic gets there first. Bear Blitz and Red 4 commit together towards the ball, but they're still able to clear it out. Doughboy towards the net. Doughboy gets the second. And once again, the locals get a goal out of sheer conviction. Good pass by Meki Ducky into the middle. No one from Steel Army's there to get to that ball, and Doughboy gets it into the back of the net towards the far post. Raid is coming in and asking who is winning the series so far. It's the locals who are winning 2-0 in this matchup, and they're leading 2-0 in Game 3 as well, with less than a minute to go. Yes, folks, they're looking very good for this sweep. I don't think any of us expected the sweep right here, but they have looked really, really good in this matchup so far. Pass out by Red 4 to Bear Blitz. Bear Blitz cannot do much with that. Now Debit, shot on goal. Meki Ducky with a save once again. The locals are looking solid at the back. They do not look phased or even troubled. Aquatic with a huge fake. Oh my goodness, I thought that ball was going to creep into the net, but it went just wide of the post. Wow, that fake would have been nuts if that went in. Red 4 with 0 boost, and that spells trouble for him as Aquatic finally gets his goal and gets the locals third. 3-0 in this game, and very likely 3-0 in this matchup. With 18 seconds to go, folks, I think the locals have sealed the sweep right here. Terrific performance from them. Terrific match from them. Well done to the locals right here. Let's see if Steel Army can get a consolation. I don't think the locals will afford them any time, though, to get a consolation. They need to work hard for this. Debit going up. He doesn't have enough boost to get back to the ball. Bear Blitz trying to go for a touch or an interception. And Red 4 gets the consolation to seal the deal in this whole matchup. Aquatic trying to clear it out, struggled, and Red 4 was there to get a powerful shot, redirecting it off of Dr. Aquatic and into the back of the net. That goal will make Steel Army feel a little bit good, but it doesn't matter at the end of the day because the locals have swept Steel Army. 3-0 in this matchup. What an incredible performance, by the way, by the locals. Like, I am impressed. They really stepped up right here, and they made sure that they avenged their loss to Steel Army in the Swiss stage. Very well done by the locals. Terrific job by them altogether. All right, let me know your thoughts, folks, because I want to know what you guys thought about that matchup. The locals looked incredible. They didn't need to look fancy either. They just prevented Steel Army from getting into their game and getting into their mojo. Pipe Shot Gogan in chat says, Jesus, remind me not to ever take Short's predictions for DraftKings, lol. And Shorts replies with facts. I mean, hey, man. Gambling is not a good thing to get into, especially with sports. So, you know, I feel you on that. All right, folks, I'm going to check to see if we have any interviews at this stage. But what a performance by the locals. I know I keep saying it, but, you know, despite not looking amazing, they dominated this matchup from start to finish. And a big proponent of that was Dr. Aquatic. That dude came in for raid, and he made sure that Steel Army never even got 2 seconds to breathe, let alone 2 touches on the ball. Man, it's just amazing to see how much they troubled Steel Army whenever they got settled on the ball. Anytime Debit brought it up in the air to go for an aerial, they were always challenged very early. Anytime Bear Blitz got it on the ground to control it and dribble it out, he got challenged super early. And they always had good spacing and good positioning to make sure that Red Steel Army could not punish him in any which way. Terrific play from the locals. Terrific approach. They are a very well coached team. They are a team that prepares themselves very well for these matches, folks. They're going to be a team to take seriously in the rest of this cup tournament. If I'm quiet, folks, it's because I am sorting out a few things for the upcoming interviews. So just bear with me for a minute as I get everything set up on my end. And folks, we do have our interview with the locals ready. Dr. Aquatic is at the booth. Dr. Aquatic, man, that was an incredible match and an incredible performance from you in particular. Tell us how you're feeling right now.
We're feeling great and glad to move on to the next round. We were missing Raid there, who joined the play, but we are glad that we were able to get done with the 3 we put forward. So, we're always happy moving on to the next round. Definitely, Steel Army showed, why at times they were the higher seed above us.
Look, I know you mentioned that you were missing Raid, but it looked like you didn't even need him in this matchup. You guys had your whole game plan set up. Everyone fit in. Your whole puzzle was complete right there. How did you guys prepare for this match?
Well, pretty much, I think, I think we've hit all the combinations of playing that I think any 30 put out there are kind of comfortable chemistry-wise. So, we played a lot, Doughboy, Ducky, and me, a lot of regular season games together as well. So, I think we're really comfortable, and I think, we could establish our playing style today. And if we're able to establish our style, usually it ends up pretty good for us. So, yeah, that's what I credit. And then Doughboy is honestly playing out of his mind right now. That's what I gotta say. Not that Ducky is, and Ducky's, number one, but Doughboy's playing out of his mind. So great to see Doughboy step up in the playoffs. I'm gonna have to give him a nickname now, Playoff Dough or something.
Oh yeah, absolutely, dude. One thing I want to say is, Mecky Ducky did step up right there, and he was a big proponent. But tell us about your own performance, dude. You came in and you looked like you fit in from the beginning. You didn't look like you needed to adjust and settle into the team. How did your teammates feel about you coming in for this matchup?
Well, I don't think we were necessarily worried about, me stepping in as usually the fourth guy having to come in. I think we're really comfortable, Doughboy, Ducky, and me, with our rotations when it's us 3. I just think it's about us, the 3 of us having a good day, solid contact on the ball, being able to clear well. And I think we did those things because our rotations are always there. I just think it always comes down to if we're clean on the ball, if we're clean, especially with our clearances and, our distancing between us. I know that I didn't think my distancing was the best in the first game. Doughboy kind of gave me some pointers after game 1, and I kind of, tried to fix that. So I think our spacing was just really great, and I think we were, putting pressure. I personally wanted to play a little bit more aggressive this game when it came to pressuring early, because I think, a guy like Debit can be really dangerous on the ball if you give him time. So I think, I know a couple times I challenged early whether it was Debit, just because you don't want to risk, giving them time and being able to set something up. I mean, Debit hit an incredible shot on us in the second game, I believe. That was definitely crazy. So I think that woke us up again, knowing what they can do if we give them time. So it was just about putting pressure.
Indeed, and well done to you for, recognizing that and then executing that to near perfection. Because anytime Debit was getting up and getting his attack going, you guys got up there and hounded him and prevented him from building up. And same with Bear Blitz. This was, I think, his quietest performance in the whole season. And did you guys recognize him as another threat to contain?
Well, I think anybody who was on the ball. I mean, obviously more so Debit. Debit's the man, but I think any team we face, you got to put pressure on the ball, and I think some teams, do really well of not allowing you to put pressure. And I think just with our rotations today and just how clean we were getting some of our clearances, it allowed us to put pressure and feel comfortable. Because that first game, I thought we played really well, and I think that gave us the confidence in games 2 and 3 to maybe challenge a little bit early. I think we had faith that someone was always going to be in the back at all times. Um, if it wasn't for a wonder goal from Debit in that, second game, and then the own goal I basically scored in the third game, I think we shut them down pretty well.
You
So
did.
yeah,
Sorry.
any
Go on.
no, I mean to your point, I just think we had to play our rotations really tight but cohesive enough to where we knew someone was in the back, but we always had someone challenging to not give them time to breathe, and I think that was the ultimate difference.
Oh, absolutely. And it was very telling at the end of the day. So I'm not really going to harp on about it over and over again because I already did. And it was very evident in this whole matchup, not just for those of you who were playing, but also to the people in the chat who watched this. And, Shorts mentioned that it was a dominant performance. I mean, he said it was dominance. And of course, BJ the Creep with his own way of praising you, saying that you're a squirter. I don't know if you have any thoughts on that.
Sometimes I get lucky. I'll squirt out a goal every once in a while, so I think that's what he's referring to in terms of being the best squirter out there. So
Well, there you go.
it's always good to get a goal. I didn't think I was gonna get one this series. I just wanted to play my role and make sure I didn't give up a goal on the back end. But getting a goal is fun, especially considering when you have guys like Ducky on the team and Raid and Doughboy who's really stepped it up this season. They don't need much goals from me. They just need me to be solid in the
Yeah.
rotations.
Agreed. I think you played your role perfectly right there, and Doughboy as well. Let's highlight him too. I know you brought him up a few times, but that dude has been getting better and better, and he was absolutely incredible with his performance right here as well. He didn't stick out in any bad way. If anything, I think he enhanced your gameplay as well as Meki Ducky's. I mean, Meki Ducky didn't have the cleanest performance, but he still looked good, and I think Doughboy helped him to really establish himself right there. So well done to your whole team. One thing I do want to highlight is uh, I don't know if you guys noticed in the title, typically when I put the supporters group name, I also put in the respective club name. This time I put in San Diego and then Wave in brackets. I don't know if you noticed that, but I wanted to highlight that because you guys, I don't know if you exactly been going, but the locals members have been going out to San Diego Wave games, right? So are we going to expect a bigger locals presence in San Diego Wave games down the line?
I mean, the Wave games are fun. I mean, it's kind of tough right now when you don't have a men's team playing, but seeing Alex Morgan play whenever we get the chance is really great. And I know a lot of the locals, love supporting the Wave. There's a lot of U.S. national team members on the Wave, and the stadium, especially being newer, is really great to watch a game from. And they're building up their culture. But yeah, like I said, the locals, they're definitely uh, trying to help out the Wave in building up that supporters groups because they already have some of their own established supporters groups. Um, but yeah, like you said, it's definitely, I think the locals have made it pretty apparent that any team that represents San Diego, they're gonna support. So whether that's the Wave or whether that's the indoor soccer team, the Soccers, or any other team that crops up, they're always gonna be there to support.
Heck yeah, man. That much respect to you guys for doing that. Seriously. There are not a lot of groups in general in this part of the world who, go out and support their other local teams. So much respect and appreciation from me for that. And who knows, maybe the locals might be a group that represents the NWSL fan base down the line. We'll see about that. I mean, I'd love to get some more NWSL and women's soccer representation in SGL, but I think the locals are doing a decent job of that from their end, at the very least.
Yeah, definitely. I always see in our Discord, that someone, well, not someone, but quite a few people are attending the Wave games at any given point. So, I'm sure I'm gonna catch a few games, a handful of games this season. I went to their playoff game last season when they ended up losing in the semis, but still I was there and I was trying my best to cheer them on. Even bought myself a scarf of the Wave. So after financially sinking myself buying nothing but loyal stuff for like a year, but
Hey, sounds good, man. Sounds good. If you guys get any like pics or videos of you guys hanging out at the Wave games and making your presence felt, and expressing your support, feel free to share them. I'd love to see stuff like that. Uh, Now, before we end this interview, do you have anything you want to shout out to the chat right here?
I do want to say I feel bad for the Steel Army. Pittsburgh lost today in the Open Cup. I wish they would have. I wish they definitely could have pulled through because I feel like maybe Steel Army would have played a little bit differently. If you come off the excitement of an Open Cup game and if you were able to win that, you have all the adrenaline, you have the confidence. So I was pretty bummed out to see that Steel Army, didn't, or I mean, the Pittsburgh didn't end up getting the win in the Open Cup. So hope those guys are able to hold their head up high and keep supporting their team, which I know we all in this Discord will.
Well said, Dr. Aquatic. Very well said. And thank you very much for that, man. I will ask Devin for his thoughts on the US Open Cup when he comes in for his interview. But yeah, we'll see how that goes. Once again, thank you very much. Great performance from you and your team. GG's. And we'll see you guys in the next round.
All right, thank you for everything, Maz. I know it's quite a bit of work to put on these streams, but we all appreciate you.
Thank you, man. Appreciate the kind words, too. Take care and have a good night.
You too. Good night.
So, folks, that was Dr. Aquatic of the Locals. And next up, as I spoiled earlier, will be Debit for Steel Army. But I do want to highlight one thing, regarding what Dr. Aquatic mentioned at the end. So before this matchup, a few of the Steel Army players, SGL players that is, were there to watch the Pittsburgh Riverhounds play against FC Tulsa. And unfortunately for the Riverhounds, they got knocked out. Excuse me, after a 1-0 loss against FC Tulsa. So their cup run is ended right here with a disappointing loss. Hopefully that didn't really weigh them down too much. Yeah, we'll see what Debit has to say about that. I'm curious to hear his thoughts right there. And he will be joining us very shortly. Speaking of which, there he is, Debit. That loss must have been disappointing for you guys. Tell me what your thoughts are after that match.
Honestly, they just did a lot of stuff to get us out of position and uncomfortable. I think I kind of just got to give it up to them. I mean, we only scored 2 goals that series. That was kind of rough overall.
Yeah, that's a surprise for you, isn't it? Like, I think we were all surprised by that. Given how good you guys are at getting goals, 2 goals after all of that is not really good. But I'm not going to dive too deep into that because I am very curious about how your how your team's mentals were after the Pittsburgh Riverhounds matchup against FC Tulsa. Like, do you think that affected your mindset into this game?
Not really. I mean, it's disappointing, but like, even Bob, he was sending out the B squad tonight and only threw on the attackers just to do anything at the last moment. And we weren't put in a too great spot anyway. Even if we won, we wouldn't have been hosting, and we know our team president would have been dying for more of hosting one of those rounds, so it would have taken a lot. So, yeah, it was a lot more like a ship poster night. So we kind of just had fun with it in the stands, which was good overall.
And sometimes
sort of like lightened up the mood.
Yeah, no, exactly. I get it. And sometimes that's necessary because you don't want to just be moping and be upset. Got to make it fun for yourself too at the end of the day. So I definitely get and respect that. But what happened in this matchup? Like, it seemed like you guys had no answer for the Locals. Everything you guys tried to do, they had an answer to, and they just shut you down completely. Was there something in retrospect that you guys could have changed to, alter the result in any way?
I think if anything, we're probably looking at maybe like timelier bumps or demos, because we had a few opportunities. We just weren't quite prepared for them. And then whenever we did find like small openings, they kind of just managed to get back. So anything just like a slip of that, their goaltending was really solid, not really giving us a lot of room to work with for rebounds, and they kind of controlled the play really well. So in a lot of ways, I think it's a lot on them, but also we just weren't even getting the 50s to help with it either. So mix of both, but I feel like I definitely got to pin it more on their side, definitely putting the right defensive mindset and structure for our matchup.
Oh, absolutely. They deserve credit for that, and I think it was more so them shutting you guys down than you guys having a bad day here. Uh, I was just curious to know if you think that there was something you could have changed. And I think you mentioned it well. If you guys were more responsive and more, I guess, proactive, you guys could have taken advantage of the moments where you did bump them and disrupt them. Uh, with that said, though, your journey is ended here, Debit. Steel Army is knocked out. Are you satisfied with your team's overall performance in this whole season?
I mean, we kind of like stumbled our way into the 4th seed anyway. That was kind of cool at the end of the day. I think in a lot of ways, like we've shown like what our best can be, but also we've shown like we're just not as consistent a team. Overall, I'm satisfied with my guys. I get to play Rocket League with them in this competition for fun, and we got this far in pretty good fashion, I'd say. So even though the losses, in the cup were kind of rough, we did have a good game against KC in the first series. But overall, I'm actually very satisfied with it. Always fun playing with those guys.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, these games are always fun to play, even if you're getting lost, even if you're losing in this manner. Just the fact that you're hanging out with, your fellow supporters, friends, and in your case, family members. It's really awesome to see.
Yeah, we forced Red 4 to stay up past his bedtime. Who would have thought?
So wait, what happened to Raisin Boy? Wouldn't he have been able to fill in?
Yeah, he was at the game, and I don't know if he went out afterwards. I don't know, something like that. Something happened where he couldn't fill in.
Hey, that's
He
fine.
was kind of unsure of it anyway.
I gotcha. No, it's all good. I'm not gonna be picky about that, anyways. People have things to deal with in their lives anyway, so it's all good.
Yeah.
So, with what you've seen from the locals right here, how far do you think they could go now, Devin?
With their game plan, it's kind of scary to see what they can do at this point. I think they definitely deserve at least 4th place within this tournament, because I mean that's where they're at right now. They've also fought back to this point, but I think with their game plan, even with not having Reed or Raid in the lineup, they are set up for success, kind of no matter where they go. At this point, I'm kind of just wanting to see how the rest of the tournament goes out, because I feel like we're really filtering down to that top 4, and I'm not even sure you can kind of fully say like that the top 4 is going to be that top 4, because even the other 5th place match, that is kind of an insane matchup as it is, the way these two teams have been playing. So
Oh, absolutely. I definitely agree.
I think the locals can do it, but I really want to see who they have to face before I really make that call of how far they go.
Yeah, I totally agree with you on that. It's going to be these upcoming matchups are going to be very difficult, because they could potentially face Timber's Army, or the Rebellion. And both of these teams are tough opponents, that's for sure.
Indeed. Dude, I cannot rave about the Rebellion's upbringing, so that's why I'm really curious right now.
Yeah, seriously, I think that'll be interesting to see for sure. Well, that about wraps it up for me. It's getting late. I need to hop off, and we need to end the stream. Do you have anything you want to say to the stream right here before you hop out?
Stream, thank you for having us. Hope you enjoyed the gameplay. No, we weren't as impressive this time. Hope you enjoyed the 2 goals that we had. They were enjoyable. Yeah, thank you for tuning in. But don't leave just because we're out, of course. We got a lot more better teams in the tournament that you can watch. So keep watching, keep supporting however you can, and we'll talk to you guys soon.
Well said, Debit. Appreciate your time here. Thank you for the interview. Thank you very much for playing as well.
Of course.
Have a good night, my man.
Thank you. You too, sir.
Peace. All right, well, that about wraps it up, folks. Before we end the stream, though, I'm gonna show off what the knockout bracket looks like at this point. And with that sweep, the locals advance into losers round 3, and they are effectively gonna finish in the top 4. Huge achievement for the locals right here. You know, being one of the top 4 teams after finishing in the 7th seed in the Swiss stage, in the group stage. So well done to them for advancing this far. As for their opponent, it's going to be one of Timber's Army or the Rebellion. Both teams that are going to be tough matchups for them. But both teams that I think they are capable of beating if they're at their best like they were today. I say at their best. I think they can still go a little bit better. But they were very much effective and solid today. So yeah, Timber's Army versus the Rebellion. When is that match happening? Unfortunately, they're not able to schedule it for this week, folks. They will be playing on Monday next week. Yes. So we should be able to stream that match next Monday. And then the winners final should also be streamed next week as well. Once we get that set, we will let you know. So yeah, just a quick recap. Timber's Army versus the Rebellion next Monday. KC Con versus Emerald City RC sometime next week. Well, that about wraps it up for the stream, folks. It was a short one. We only had one matchup, but thank you all so much for attending. Thank you all so much for joining in. This is the Only Mazar, and I'm going to sign off now. I'm going to get some rest and get some water. Take care, and peace.